Well, good morning, everyone. It is September 26, 2023. My name is Thomas Montgomery. It's my pleasure to facilitate this morning Zoom call. We have it most weekday mornings at 8 a.m. Central to support our referral partners. Today, we're going to go through some first tranche funding success stories, and I probably should make this a little bit larger, and then we'll scroll down just so you can see it. So as we discuss this, it's very important to understand what the first tranche is. If you make it something different than reality, I think you're doing yourself and the client both a disservice. So we want to make sure, and we'll go through the success stories, and these are all accurate and true, of course, but we need to make sure you understand how this fits in to the process and into the bigger scope of things. So most of you are branch offices, which we're thankful for. So as a branch office, what is it you do? You assist clients in becoming qualified. I think we need to pause there for a moment. Sometimes we're approached by people that think we're loan brokers. We're not loan brokers. Not that there's anything wrong with those professionals. But loan brokers typically don't have the skills, the education, the experience that you and I have. Because what we're doing is not brokering a loan. That really doesn't require much knowledge or effort. What we do, what you and I do, is we're technical advisors. We're helping people become qualified for funding. That's what's needed, right? Because we've all seen this. Some people want money. Some people need money. But what you have to do is you have to be qualified for funding, because otherwise it's too good to be true. Well, that's the problem that you and I solve as branches, is we help people become qualified. Well, what for? What do we help them become qualified for? A minimum of $100,000. Now, a lot of our clients want more. A lot of our clients get more, and that's fine. But well, number one, the grant states the $100,000 guarantee. But secondly, we really can't realistically tell people that they're guaranteed $1 million, because the constraints, the criteria, the qualifications for $1 million is very significant. And theoretically, anyone could get there, but let's not open up that can of worms. So instead, let's stick with what our promise is, which should be in writing, is that we can work with anyone as long as they participate to become qualified for a minimum of $100,000. Now, so that's the goal that we're working towards, is to help them become qualified. Our topic today really isn't about the $100,000, it's about the first tranche. So as we state here, additionally, through the First Tranche Financing, sometimes called First Tranche Funding or FTF, we assist them in getting an initial round of funding. So they enroll. We want these clients to get funding offers within a matter of days, not weeks. We want it to be fast, and we've improved our process. We've had trainings on that. We've talked about the 3 phases. Phase 1, where you're getting the client's packet put together, the agreement, their payment, the PFS, and soft pull. Then we move to phase 2, where you're working with your funding coordinator, and our goal is within 24 hours then to get funding offers for the client. Again, those quick offers is what we call the FTF. So that's based upon their baseline criteria. Some people get a lot of offers, some get few, some get none, and we'll go through and look at some examples here. But none of that is a reflection. Every once in a while, well, I shouldn't even say every once in a while, probably more than occasionally, I'll get some of you branches that come back and there's almost this attitude. Well, my client didn't get any first tranche funding offers, or the offers they received weren't good enough. Well, remember the model. We've put together this portfolio or consortium of lenders that have agreed to make funding offers for our clients. There's about 40 of them in this consortium, no hard inquiries. So when you have dozens of different independent lenders independently and objectively looking at an app, I think that's a reflection of true market conditions. And so some people will get a lot of offers, some will get few, but it's a reality of the client's initial criteria, credibility. If they don't get all the offers that they would want or not at the terms that they would want, that's okay. That means that they're in the right spot, in fact, because we're going to work with them on what? Improving their qualifications. So after your client receives their first round of funding, what do? We work with them, which we call phase 3, to increase their credibility. Well, what does that mean? That sounds strange or too abstract. Well, it's the same thing that you and I learned in 7th or 8th grade. We're going to help them improve their 3 C's. I used to be a public high school teacher. You've heard that, and not that that's some arrow in my quiver, but it's the reality. And so when I went to the high school principal, I said, I want to teach at this high school, and I want to teach business classes. And they're like, business classes? High schools don't have business classes. They have math and English and history. I said, no, we need to provide more practical education. So I taught things like accounting and to these students, accounting 1 and accounting 2. Now, and that's a few years ago, so now we see schools are building in financial literacy more so, and in some states it's a required curriculum. My youngest son, which you've heard me talk about, is in 8th grade now, but last year in 7th grade, he was learning about the 3 C's in 7th grade. But ironically, you and I will go out and interface with clients or prospective clients that don't have that basic financial literacy. So much of what you and I do is helping educate and helping people understand how to become qualified, what that means. My son's getting ready to transfer to a private school, and this private school actually has a full business curriculum, like 7 different classes. They have an entrepreneurial club. So our society is moving towards helping prepare our youth for entrepreneurialism, which is great. But there's a big gap of the working adults that you and I need to go out and help. So what are we going to do? We're going to help them increase their credibility to get them the amount of funding that they want and that they need. A minimum of $100,000. But if they need more, then we can work with them on those capital raises too. It's important to remember that we work with imperfect clients who often don't initially qualify for their desired capital raise. So again, the first tranche of funding is just simply what they qualify for at the baseline. Then we're going to do our work to improve their credibility to help them get from here to there, of course, legally and ethically. So with all that being said, we're going to spend a few minutes today talking about some recent success stories of the first tranche. We're just talking about first tranche. So these are funding offers, funding amounts within just the first few days, at most first week or two of a client's enrollment, not the ultimate end funding goal, but in the quick short term. Because frankly, we kind of live in this society where a lot of people want to know, what can I get now? So let's start with these examples. This client received 44 offers through the first tranche funding process by working with the funding coordinator, going through our consortium of lenders. So did this client have to accept any of those? No, it's up to the client. The offers are presented to the client, and the client can say yes or no to each of those. They can stack them and accept multiple offers. They can decline them all or anywhere in between. This client received $295,000 from first tranche. So does it work? Yes. But obviously this client was well qualified come in, right? There's no mystery. You can't take someone that's poorly qualified and think they're going to end up with $300,000 out of their first tranche. It's not a too good to be true scenario. It's reality. But we don't know until we run them through. We wouldn't have known that he would have gotten almost $300,000. But this is where we want all clients to start. Phase 2, technically. Let's see what they qualify for, and then they can make their own decision to accept or decline those offers. Mr. Shorter received 14. You might say, well, 14, that's not very good. You know, this other guy got 44. Well, this is just the reality. and the total amount was $74,200. But again, this was from the first tranche. So if at any point you're thinking, well, this is BS, he didn't get at least 100,000. Well, this is just the first tranche, right? This is before we went and worked on credibility. This is not the end goal or the end funding. This is the front end funding, the first tranche. Mr. Fleming had 7 offers, 47,000. We just picked a few recent ones. I mean, we could fill up pages and pages and pages of funding, but the goal is just to show you, I mean, it works. And then Hursey with 9 offers, 31,000. So the best thing I could say to you is give it a try, right? Enroll a client and let's see what offers they get. Enroll yourself and let's see what offers you get. So some people say, no, we need more examples. Okay, so we loaded a bunch more. So Camelon, 61 first tranche offers, and a bunch of them larger ones, over 10,000. Kirby, 31 offers, again, multiple 5-figure offers. Enrique, 34 offers, again, multiple 5-figure offers. Monica, 14 funding offers, again, multiple 5-figure offers. Amy, 17, multiple 10,000 offers. Malcolm, 17. Larry, 37. He had 2 of those offers were over 30,000. And then Marcus, 22. But none of this really matters, to be truthful. That's why I don't like to spend time on this, because these are true statements, but it doesn't matter. Each individual client needs to enroll. You need to put their package together, their agreement, their payment, their soft pull, their PFS. You need to work with your funding coordinator, Madison, get that app, and then submit that app in and see what your client gets. Because it doesn't matter that this guy got 300,000. It doesn't matter, because that's not your client. Now let's reverse it, and let's say this was your client. So we've got a number of, well, we've got a big group on today, 320 of you, but let's say Mr. Turner, who just came aboard. So let's say that this was Mr. Turner's client, so Mr. Turner's branch, which isn't the case. I'm just saying, what if? So Mr. Turner, could you, well, I'll ask all of you, could you type in to the Q&A, all of you, what would your branch's commission be if this was your client? So if your client just got 295,000, what would your performance fee be? Go ahead and type it into the Q&A. Ken says 29,500. So that means his performance fee is 10%. Trevor's is the same. Some of you are charging more than 10%. Some of you are charging 15%. I've told you before, we got one of our branches that's charging 50%. So it's up to you what your performance fee is, but you can see that these first tranches can be a nice addition to your branch's income. Looks like there's an extra digit there somehow. Probably that 0 is off. But regardless, yeah, so it's important. So Jasmine would have made 59,000 off that one deal if that was her client, because this is a real client, right? These are real situations. It's just, you want to go out, I would think you would want to go out and generate lots of clients, because some of them will get big first tranche offers. Not all of them. Some of them might get 0. Some of them will get more middle. But cast a wide net. Let's help everyone. Don't filter people out. And if you follow the normal plan, because this is not get rich quick, this is not like winning the lottery. But as we talked about down here in the highlighted, or I guess in the summary, you should make at least 12,000 per client, because you're getting the 2,000 refundable setup fee when they enroll, and then assuming that you're going with the 10% performance fee off of 100,000. So if you can just follow the norm, you don't have to be exceptional, just follow the norm. Let's set up a plan, a goal for the month of October, for example, that you enroll 1 client a day. And if you need help with clients, we can provide you leads, or we can even provide you signed clients with the client placement program that we talked about last week. But if you just get engaged, follow that plan, we enroll on average 1 client a day. That'll put your branch at around 360,000 a month. And you'll have some big hitters. You'll have some midsters, and you'll have some folks that don't get any first tranche funding at all. But we need to cast a wide net. Who has questions on this specific topic, first tranche funding? Do you know how this comes about? Do you understand what your responsibilities are? I mean, we're helping people, which is our number one goal, but this is a good income for you that could be just a side gig. And again, if you had just one client like this a month, just one a month, let alone the others that would still be raising capital, it's not a bad side gig. So who has questions? We're going to go ahead and put it into the Q&A. Ken asked, does a client have to be a U.S. citizen? No, client does not have to be a U.S. citizen. Thank you for the question, Ken. Who else has questions on this specific topic? And what made me bring this up today is Miss Dash had asked yesterday, because she's enrolled a good number of clients, and some are getting funding offers and some won't. And she was kind of frankly becoming a little bit pessimistic. Oh, is anyone getting funding? Well, sure. On first tranche, it's based upon their 3 C's, their credibility that they come to the table with. And then at that point, we work with them to do what? Increase their credibility so they can qualify for a minimum of $100,000. Have some of you get frustrated that the amount that your client's getting for their first tranche doesn't match their self-perception. But this is real. This is the marketplace speaking. This isn't you or I kind of adjusting the throttle of how many offers they get. They're getting the offers that are reflective of their true credibility, because we have such a large pool of lenders that are competing for their business. And of course, it's only soft inquiries. Eric asked about interest rates, and I'd be lying to you to tell you that I remember what the interest rate is on all of these deals, but that's part of the transparency. In phase 2, you get the client in phase 1, of course, the agreement, payment, PFS, soft pull. Then you work with your funding coordinator, Eric, on phase 2, and they get the offers. And the offers tell them how much and what are the terms. What's the repayment terms in terms of repayment period, as well as interest rate. And so clients can choose. But this is, again, just the baseline. This is their initial funding, their first tranche. And then from there, we move on. Even if they don't get any first tranche funding offers, it's okay. That means, again, they're in the right place. They need our help. They don't have borrowing capacity. So what are we going to do? We're going to work with them in what we call phase 3 to improve their credibility, the 3 C's of both themselves and of their businesses, so they qualify for at least $100,000. Quantrell's asking, are any of the loans merchant cash advances? So none of these offers are MCAs. We're not real big into MCAs. If a client wants that and needs that, we can facilitate that, but it's not the core of what we do. So to answer Quantrell's question, no, none of these statistics that you see here are MCAs. None of them are. Trevor's kind of mentioning about credit. Yeah, and so we take clients where they are. We take imperfect clients, as we put right here. And so maybe they're not that strong in one or more of their 3 C's, and that's fine. What do? We put our arms around them, we give them a hug, and we say, okay, let's go from here to there. Let's get you from where you're at now to where you need to be, because we can legally and ethically improve all 3 C's, whether it be credit, collateral, or capacity. That's fine. We don't need to screen people. Jasmine asked about first tranche. So first tranche is typically more personal than business funding. And the reason for that is we've not yet built out their loan package. So the larger capital raises are almost always business funding. That's where we're trying to get to. But when they first come to us, because this is just within a day or two of enrollment, most of them aren't yet qualified for any business funding. Some are. So this is more oriented towards the personal side. Then what do? We move into phase 3. We build their credibility for, as it states here, business funding. Great question. Trevor says interest rates are the biggest hurdle. Well, Yeah, I mean, the interest rates are the interest rates, and so the client can accept or decline any of these offers. They're not obligated to accept any of them, and we certainly don't get a power of attorney to pretend to be them. So with that being said, it's up to them. You know, if they want the offers, they accept it. But it's true. It's the marketplace speaking. It's not going after predatory loans. It's casting a wide net across around 40 different lenders, and it's just reality of the offers that they qualify for at in the beginning. Quantrell asked about improving credit. So we actually have 2 credit resources that are free for those clients you enroll in Credit Suite. And we're going to actually be talking about one of them tomorrow. That's actually our topic tomorrow. So I'm going to table Quantrell's question about credit and credit resources, because that is in fact our topic for tomorrow. We're going to talk about free credit resources on tomorrow's training. Thank you for bringing that up. Anyone else have any questions on first tranche? Do you know how to help a client get their first tranche offers? Because you need to be crystal clear on how we can get them offers. If you don't know how that works, let us know. We can discuss that now. That's relevant to our topic right now. Is everybody good on how a client gets their first tranche offers? Okay. Let's see, there's another question coming in here. Well, I guess we're good. So if there's anything else you need from me, let me know. I would not go out and quote and you know, sharing these success stories. You can, but I would just be so cautious, because what people will want to do is they want to say, well, you got this client and this client and this client, you know, what 50,000 or more, rounding off. I should get 50,000 of first tranche funding too. Well, I mean, you might not. I don't know. I mean, we've got to fill out the app and see what you qualify for. In no way can you properly extrapolate what these clients receive versus what the next client will receive, because it's based upon their baseline credibility. That's why I hate, or I'm at least hesitant to give these examples, which are all real, they're all truthful, they're all transparent, but different people will have different circumstances. And so we have to see where that individual client is, because it's the individual client's credibility that's going to affect them, not what these other folks have received. All right, well, and if you're not set up as a branch yet, we'd love to have you. You can go to guaranteedfunding.org, go to the careers page, get you plugged in. We should be able to help you start earning $12,000 a day starting tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.